Okay, so this is going through question 8 on page 399. This is part of the Redox Review and Consolidation 3. This is a chunky question, so this will probably be a moderately sized video, but here's how I would do it. So with a question this size, and can I ask you please to get the question out in front of you, just to show you it, it's this one here, because I'm going to be making reference to it quite a lot, but I can't fit it on my camera screen as well as my answer at the same time. So if you get that out in front of you, then you'll see what I'm talking about. So with a question this big, the most important thing to do is to process the question properly. Don't just try and scan through it and then expect to know what's going on. You've really got to take like a good couple of minutes to try and get in your head what's happening. So the most important thing to do here is to draw a diagram. So to go through the question says we have 2.80 grams of brass, and it says that this is reacted with an excess of conc nitric acid. So we need to be thinking about what reactions are going to occur here. So it's going to be our combining those two half equations, we're going to get this overall equation there. Now, if you're not okay about how I came up with that, what I did is I wrote down my two half equations. I then multiplied the electrons, so I had the same number of electrons in each equation. So I basically needed to multiply the nitric acid equation by 2. I then add up all of my reactants from both equations to one side, all of my products from both equations to the other side. We can then cancel. So if you've balanced out the electrons will always cancel. Double check, sometimes other things will cancel too, usually H pluses and waters, but anything that can cancel will cancel, and that will give you this overall equation. So what have we formed? Some water, some nitrate ions, some NO2, and some copper 2+. That's going to be the important thing in it. It then says excess sodium carbonate is added, and this will neutralize the acid. So again, we should be thinking about what's going to happen there. So it's just going to be the nitric acid plus the carbonate will go to a salt, water, and carbon dioxide. And it says this mixture effervesces and a precipitate forms. So that's where the effervescence is coming from, the carbon dioxide. But none of these things would be a precipitate. All group 1 metal nitrates are soluble. So this would be an aqueous solution. So we need to be thinking, where does that precipitate come from? And it's going to come from the copper 2+ ions we made here reacting with that excess carbonate. So now the thing we've got is this copper carbonate precipitate solid. Step 3 then says the precipitate is reacted with ethanoic acid and a solution forms. So the carbonate from our copper carbonate is reacting with the H+ from the ethanoic acid to produce carbon dioxide and water, and that will release the copper 2+ ions. Because look, we've used up the carbonate, it's been reacted. So at the end of all of this, what we've ended up with is some copper 2+. We've kind of essentially got what we started with at the beginning. Okay, and it says that this is made up to 250 centimeters cubed. So at the end of the day, we started with 2.8 grams of brass, and we ended with 250 centimeters cubed of copper 2+. Can you see how if you didn't figure out these equations, there's no real way you're going to know what's going on there, so you've got to look at the equations. It then says we pipetted 25 centimeters cubed of that into a conical flask, so that's our copper 2+, and we reacted that with some excess iodide. So this would be the overall equation. The way I got that is it tells you in the question we start with this. It also tells you we make copper 1 iodide. So that Roman numeral in 1 tells you the charge of the copper. So if the copper is 1+, that must be binded to 1 iodide. Now, what we could do is just balance this with a 2 there and a half there. That would be fine, but often we double this up to get rid of the half, and that will give you this overall equation here. It then says we titrate it against some thiosulfate with that concentration. It gives you the equation, and it gives you the titer as well of 29.8. So that's taken me, what, like 3 or 4 minutes to get through that diagram? But I've processed the question now. I know what's going on. I don't even need to look at the question anymore. I've got this. One final thing I will write down, though, is it says to determine the percentage by mass, or the percentage purity, and to record your answer to 1 decimal place. So right at the beginning, I'm going to write in my answer line, near where I'm going to do my final answer, 1 dp. Look here, make it really obvious, do it in a red pen. So when you get to your final answer, it'll remind you to do that. It's amazing how often students get so caught up in the question, you kind of forget to do that. So write it down in your answer line right from the beginning. Okay, so on with the actual answer then. So this is just going to be a basic demesma, but we're also, because we've got thiosulfate, we're going to need 2 equation steps. So it's like a demesma. So step 1, we're going to use our volume and concentration of the thiosulfate to calculate our moles of thiosulfate. So moles of thiosulfate, 2.98 times 10 to the minus 3, and that will give us our moles in the burette here. We then need to use our first equation, our balanced equation, which we've been given here, to realise that thiosulfate to iodine is a 2-to-1 ratio, so half to find your moles of iodine, and that will be the moles of iodine used in the titration. We don't care about the iodine, we've been asked to find out about the copper, so we need to do our second equation step and convert the iodine to the copper. That will be using this equation here, and that will give us the moles of copper in here. But we don't care about the moles of copper in there, we care about the moles of copper in our original solution, and we went from 250 centimetres to 25, so this was a sample. Doing the diagram really helps you spot that. So we need to figure out our sample factor, which is big V over small v, which was the 250 from the original over the 25 from the final, which is 10. So our moles of copper in our original solution, let's flick that back, so we're now going back to the original, is 10 times our moles in the titration, which would be 2.98 times 10 to the minus 2. That's what it did. So DMEES, our last moles equation always starts with what the question is asking, and if the question asks you to find the percentage mass or the percentage purity or percentage mass is your pure mass over your impure mass times by 100. You will always be told the impure mass. So if the question says find the percentage purity or the percentage mass, what it really means is find the pure mass and bang it in this equation. So let's find our pure mass. So mass will just be moles times AR for the copper. Bang all that in and you'll get 1.8923. Stick that in the percentage purity or percentage mass equation. The impure mass was this 2.8 from the start. It'll always tell you the impure mass. So if it hasn't, look harder, you've missed it. Stick all that in and we'll get 67.6. Oh, yep, that's reminded me I need to make sure that's to 1 decimal place. Yep, I've rounded it to 1, so that's good to go. Boom.